How you guys doing? Me and my dad did these tie rod ends when we were doing the hub, so that's why the editing is kind of weird. I'm still trying to learn how to edit right and stuff like that, so hopefully I can get better. But yeah, I've had no problems with it. Obviously, I had to get alignment after that, but that's the only thing that we can't do here. So other than that, yeah. Hope you guys enjoy. I haven't had any problems with it, so hope you guys enjoy.
So like I said, once you pop the tie rod nut off, you can move your hub assembly wherever you need it. Now, you're not gonna reuse this nut because we're replacing the tie rod ends, because the tie rod ends, if you feel them, they've got some wear, and the inside boot, I believe, is broken and it's got some wear. If you look, you can see the boot assembly. It's actually broken, and it has a little bit of wear. So we're going to be changing that to the kryptonite inner and outer tie rod ends as well. There's an actual upgrade where it upgrades this whole bar and takes away one of the problems that are inherent to these tie rod ends, where they break right here at the part where it screws in, where when there's a lot of torque. So there is an upgrade from kryptonite, but we chose not to get the upgrade at this time. This truck is basically a pavement princess, so it doesn't do a lot of off-road. If you would be doing a lot of off-road, then yes, the upgrade would be highly recommended and would take away a lot of your issues when it comes to steering problems when you're doing a lot of off-roading. So the new part, left and right inner tie rod ends, are identical. Okay, there is no different threads. They're both identical for the left and right tie rod ends. Okay, so you've got this stud right here that screws into the factory. So you can look, it's not much different than what the factory is. A little bit heavier duty. You know, obviously this is heavier duty, very heavy duty. The weak point on this assembly, much like the factory assembly, is where it screws into the actual drag length. That is your weak point for these. But like I said, if you're doing just regular driving on the road or whatever, you know, this is more than adequate for what you're gonna need. Maybe later on we'll upgrade and you actually do away with this section right here, and it goes to another tie rod end design where you've actually got to change the drag link, and this design changes to this design here, which is, you know, your most heavy duty design that you can get for it. Now we're going to take this truck for alignment after we're done with it, okay, but we want to get as close as possible to where it's at. So what you're going to do is, these are, if you look, this the kryptonite one is left-handed on one side, right-handed on the other. So when you turn the beam, see how it's coming out? Okay, so you're turning the middle nut, okay, and the threads are coming out. All right, like I said, you're gonna have to take it to alignment either way. As soon as you're done with it, you need to take it for an alignment. Okay, so you're not going to be dead on this, but you want to get it as close as possible, okay, to where the original one is. All right, that's pretty dead on. All right, pretty dead on to where the original one is. Maybe I need to back it off just a little bit. Alright. What do you think, Kyle?
It's good to me.
Pretty dead on. Okay. Like I said, as soon as you get done with it, you need to take it in for an alignment. You know, one thing I recommend, if you've got the time, we should have put some anti-seize on these threads. But like I said, this truck does not really leave Florida, so we should be fine with it. Remember these nuts, one goes one way, so if you look, this one tightens this way, this one should tighten the opposite direction. Yeah, tightens it like if you were loosening it. Okay, so once you've got them, we're gonna need the wrenches for this. I'm thinking like an inch. I think it's like an inch and a half. Tighten these nuts up. Okay. Now, there's no line up to this because you're going to screw this into the center link first, and then you're going to put this onto the shaft. This tie rod end spins. Okay, so if you look, it spins. So if you've got the direction wrong on this, all you got to do is spin it by hand, and you can line it up into your knuckle assembly. So okay, like I said, either way they're gonna align it. Okay, we're gonna take it and get it aligned. So this is just a best guesstimate. When they get it aligned, they'll get it where it needs to be. We just don't want to be dragging going down the road until we get it there. Tighten this up. You don't want to over tighten it either, because I have seen them break over tightening them. Okay, you're going into a flanged area. You should be able to screw it in pretty much by hand. Okay. Once you've got it screwed in by hand, unfortunately, I do not have a wrench to actually torque this. Okay, so we're gonna guesstimate. Okay, it does not go really tight, but it does go to a certain point. We'll grab that thing, keep it. You want to make sure the mating surfaces mate. Okay, so right there you can feel that they mated. Okay, you want to just give it a little bit of a turn. tie rod end is in. Okay, and like I said, if you look, so this isn't going to line up with your knuckle. Okay, that turns, so all you're going to do is grab it and turn it, okay, to where you need it. Okay, you're going to take the tie rod nut off. You're going to line it up with your knuckle assembly. You're going to push it into place. You're going to put the nut back in. Okay, and it should give you the torque for this. You want it pretty straight with it. Okay, like the fact you can see the kryptonite on the tie rod end. If you look at it, they've got kryptonite on there. Really neat touch. So the size for this nut is not that. It's that right there. It's a looks like it's a 20. Might be a 19. Go get a 19 millimeter, see if it's a 19. Yeah, it feels like it's a 19, so pretty tight on there. Let's see what we got. You can now begin reassembly using high strength Loctite. Thread the inner run, tighten 100 foot-pounds using 2-inch end wrench or large crescent wrench. Slide the outer okay, so this outer nut here goes to 48 foot-pounds. So since I'm on the ground here, my son's gonna do it. Okay, I'm gonna set the torque wrench to 48 foot-pounds. This one barely does the 48. This one comes in. Okay, so pounds. Now, while we've got everything apart and everything, we're going to go ahead and grease these. Per the manufacturer, per Kryptonite, we don't want to over grease it. They come pre-greased from what it says, but we don't want to. We still want to put a little bit of grease on it. You'll see that when you grease it, these boots will get a little bit hard, and that's what we want. So go ahead and get the grease. All right, go ahead. Oh, that's good. All right. Always clean the top of the Zerk fitting. You don't want whatever junk is on there to get pushed in. Go ahead. All right, you see the boot move. Stop. You don't want to over grease it per the manufacturer. Like I said, they said that comes pre-greased, and not to over grease it, and we want to do it correctly per what the manufacturer states. So as soon as you see that boot move, you want to stop greasing it, because once these boots break, you're pretty much defeating the purpose. You'll get water, dirt, contaminants in there, and then you're defeating the purpose of the boot, which is to keep contaminants out from the actual mating surfaces of the tie rod and the ball joints, all those. While we're here, we're going to go ahead and grease the upper and lower ball joints, because we're here and they might as well get done. You've also got your upper and lower, your drag link, not your drag link, your idler arm. You want to check your idler arm, make sure you've got no wear on your idler arm ball joints or the idler arm assembly itself. Like I said, we're going to take it in for alignment. If the alignment people see that, hey, it's got wear in these certain points, they're probably not going to align it. And like everything else, they want to sell you a job, which is understandable. I mean, that's what mechanics are there to do, is try and prevent breakdowns, and they're going to try and sell you a job. Doesn't make them wrong. It just makes the fact that when you did the repair, you didn't find everything that needed to be changed. You know, so you've got, you know, we checked the idler arm is in good condition. You know, all solid. This one does have a steering stabilizer shock, which, you know, it looks like it's seeping a little bit, but not much. And it could be oil from something else, but, you know, it looks to be in good condition. So we'll leave it there. So right here, pretty much on this side, we're done for the most part. You know, your old parts, you know, I recommend recycling. You know, there's no need to throw these in the trash bin. You can take it to a metal recycler and get you some money out of it. Might be a couple bucks, but a couple bucks is a couple bucks.